All right. Hello. Let's see here. So I'm still adjusting my setup here. So forgive me. I haven't decided on what I'm going to put on the wall behind me. And this light is entirely too bright. So I'm going to adjust it. So my two huge investments are AMC. I'm assuming you mean average cost around 30 and Doge cost average around 26. In the short term, should I sell some AMC to buy this big Doge dip? Because I'm invested both in Doge and AMC, I wouldn't say, necessarily like sell one for the other. But you're at 26, so I think right now I checked we're like 21, 22 cents. So I would say if we dip down like into the teens, that'll be, depending on how much money you have, that'll be a great opportunity for you to really affect your DCA. And I think that's part of the issues that we have here as far as for um, when it comes to averaging down is a lot of times people say buy the dip and the dip is like 2 cents from their current DCA. So you're going to have to spend an absolute fortune to get it down. So I think that's going to play a part into it. I forgot to do my mic check. Can everyone hear me? I just want to get that clear before I go any further. Okay. Sorry, I just started rambling and didn't even do my normal mic check. Hang on one sec. Let me adjust this light because it is killing me. I got to figure out my setup here. Give me one sec. Hopefully it's not too, okay, that's a little better. Okay. All right. So I know I made some videos that were, I pretty much was calling out the floor as far as saying that we have a lot of support at Dogecoin around the 25 cents level. And I also pointed out that we had some dips below that around like 19 to like 16 cents. And I was actually able to purchase at around the 16 cents mark. When we break like the equilibrium, as far as like the last 2 months, 3 months, that is a golden opportunity to not only bring your DCA down, but if you're looking to, if you're short term or if you're long term, if you're looking to exit, this is like absolute gold. And BTC on it, pretty much the crypto market being a sea of red right now. The light looks like David is under investigation. Yeah, I still got to play with my settings here a little bit. I'll get it together, I promise, and I'll have my normal setup back. But yeah, that light is extremely bright. But when you're able to catch it below the equilibrium, typically what equilibrium is kind of like the median. So you have the opportunity to capitalize because based off of history, it doesn't stay down this long. Technically, crypto has been on an impressive run for the year. So we had the shortest bear market I've ever seen on record. So I'm not saying this is the big correction, but even if it does happen, it's not abnormal. So, but anything below that 25 cent support, based off of the history that we've seen, it is an incredible buy. So I'm very excited. I haven't started buying yet, but once we get in, if we do get into the teens, you can best believe at that point I'm a buyer. So I'm going to take some questions and then I'll move on. How to buy the dip? Just make buying the dip, because technically speaking, a dip is technically a decrease in price. But to effectively buy the dip, I think is the correct question, because I think that most people buy the dip, but to effectively do it, there needs to be a gap between your current DCA and the actual price. So if your DCA is 25 cents right now, is 21 cents technically a dip by textbook? Yes. But if you're going to bring your average down to 21 cents, you're going to have to spend an absolute fortune. Now, for those of you who have a 40 cents DCA or something like that, and it dips to 19 cents, which is like 50%, or we're at 21 cents, which is like 50% of your DCA right now, yeah, you should be buying like hell. So to get that down. So buying the dip, I think it's just, you got to be strategic and not just buying 2 cents below your current DCA. Otherwise, you'll be very frustrated when your DCA doesn't move because you're not spending enough money. Do I think Doge could still hit $1 this year? The crypto market is, it's very volatile, so anything can change course. Like a country could come forward right now and say, we're going to take, Bitcoin or something like that, and then boom, the market rallies. So I can't say it's not, but it certainly still could hit $1 this year. But honestly, right now, because on the spectrum, I did several videos saying that the range for the correction was 50 to 80%, like 90% on the extreme side. That puts Dogecoin from its all-time high to the absolute bottom floor historically at around 12 cents. Now, do I believe that Doge will get to 12 cents? I think that'll be very difficult, because even when we get to 16 cents, we typically get a rally, and we even start going against the trends of the overall crypto market, meaning that the crypto market can still be trending downward, but the buying pressure is so great. Once we start getting lower in the teens, typically we're able to bounce back up to the low 20 range. So I think it'd be very difficult. Something will have to happen in order for it to have like a catalyst to get down. But as far as for the actual rally, typically we'll spring back to that equilibrium. Y'all need to buy Doge when it hits 19 cents. We are going to slingshot. Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty much what I meant by hitting the equilibrium, because technically, if you think of an equilibrium, I wish I had a rubber band. So you'll have like you can put the median as like the 25 cents form. So technically, the farther it goes down, and we know that technically the market where we are now, the economy and everything has decided that 25 cents is going to be the median, or that's going to be the resistance. That's fair market value right now. So the further you go down, typically you'll overshoot the median before you come back to it. So, and typically that's what we see on a lot of the runs where we do dip into the teens. We'll say that based off of the economy and the circumstances right now, that fair market value is 25 cents. But when we rally out of the teens, technically we'll shoot up to that 31, 32 cents level when we start hitting the resistance of our ceiling that we're going to need to break through in order to hit 43. And the thing about that is, that's really, I think a lot of the selling pressure that comes from that are the people that have bought in the teens, like that 16 cents, 17 cents, who are selling at around 32, 33 cents, because that's 100% profit. So you got to understand that not everyone is pushing for Doge to hit $1. They're happy with Doge bouncing between 16 cents and 32 cents, because the percentage of return is 100%. So you just got to kind of factor that in there, that when you have numbers that double, typically you're going to have like a sell-off point. And I don't think that's a complete reason, but I think that plays a part into why there's a lot of selling pressure after we come out of the teens and we overshoot that equilibrium to around 32 cents. Let's see. I'm going to assume these are all personal opinions and not financial advice. Facts. Yeah, I have no financial advice at all. I'm just a guy on YouTube. Give our guy a thumbs up so he doesn't have to ask for it. Yeah, please do. Please do. If you found value, definitely give it a thumbs up. Sorry, I'm reading some of the questions here. Possible new breaking point again. Will it hit all-time highs like in May? Um, well, we have a few points of resistance to get through, similar to what we did on the first run. The first ceiling is around, we start hitting that resistance levels around like 32, 33 cents. I think there's another one at like 44, 43. But if we break the first one, typically that's for me, I think that we're going to have some type of catalyst. So I think that we will get into like that 50 cents range. But we got to, when you compare any type of run, it's never like a straight shot from, like, unless something crazy happens, it won't be like a straight shot from 19 to a new all-time high. We had, even on the first initial run, like from January, we had these breaks. We had a break around 2 cents, around 5 cents, around 10 cents, and we fluctuated. We had a break around 25 cents, and we start getting these huge catalysts, and of course FOMO started kicking in, so we're able to move a lot faster. But there are these periods of rest where it seems that it's not going to past this level. And I'm not sure how long you've been invested, but the catalyst is always the same. It'll never hit 5 cents. It'll never hit 10 cents. It'll never hit 25 cents. It'll never hit 50 cents. It's always the same thing. So just kind of got to be patient. But the when you're looking at for like an all-time high, I think that I'll start looking at for an all-time high once we break through like the 40 range. That'll give me like an idea that we've set some new floors of resistance. So most of the people that are in like 25 cents and who have and the people that buy into the teams, that if we get there now, they'll let me know that we're setting some new resistance levels at higher highs versus the 25 cents. So we'll have some 32-cent level resistance levels and kind of build up that support, because ultimately that's what you want. You don't want you don't want a gap, because a gap up typically always means there's going to be a gap down. You want the support levels there. You want the community building there. You want a DCAs at 25 cents. You want DCAs at 35 cents, at 45 cents. So this builds your support and gives you some resistance, and that's really how you establish floors. Because if something is just like this, you're not establishing a floor. Everyone DCA is 50%, 60% below that. So when they take profits, everyone's always in the green. So there's even if it goes down 10 or 20%, you can panic, but they're still technically in the green and take profits. So that's typically why a gap up is always followed by a gap down. So you just got to be careful with that. Any idea how good a dope backdrop would look right now? I'm still waiting on your email. Randy, I swear to God, I was looking for your email maybe 10 minutes before I went live. I was waiting until I moved into my new place here to kind of get an idea of the walls and stuff like that and how big I wanted it. I'm going to email you as soon as I get off of this live, I promise. Trying to buy the Ethereum dip. Absolutely. Yeah, crypto's on sale. This is not just for Dogecoin. I know I have a lot of following that are invested in Dogecoin, but yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum, any of your favorite ones, it's like a sea of red out there. This applies for all of them. So definitely, I've always said, I don't recommend buying on bull runs. Buy on bear runs, corrections, consolidations, whatever you want to call it. These are the times to buy, especially if these coins have shown resistance at higher levels and stability at higher levels, and it dips below that. That's an easy decision to make. We need Daddy Elon to boost Dogecoin big. He alluded to bumping in the word, if it doesn't move by spring, I would be scared as hell. Yeah, I don't think Elon has changed course at all or anything. So I think that Elon is a major catalyst going forward as far as for the health of Dogecoin. So I think that it's going to him and his plans as far as for next year and integration with like Tesla and Doge One and stuff like that. I think it's going to be really, really a big catalyst going forward and attracting not only new people to the community, but also keeping the spotlight on Doge because, again, this was supposed to be a meme coin and we're hanging on to the top 10. So louder volume. Is anyone having trouble hearing me? Let me see. I'm not sure. I'm gonna scroll down some. Has anyone having any trouble hearing me? Okay. I saw the louder volume. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna scroll back up and start looking through some more of these questions. Okay. I'm at 27 cents, 67,000. Putting in 1,000 ain't really gonna change that. I need to hit up a bank. Yeah, 27 cents. Yeah, I would just definitely say wait until you get into the teens. Remember, the bigger the gap between your DCA and your new buying point, the more effective you're going to be at averaging down. So if we dip into the teens, if you have, 1,000 or so, and if we do touch that 16 cents mark, that'll be or like 30 to 40% below. So absolutely, at that point, um, if you want to put your 1,000 there, you can probably drop your DCA a cent or two. Zombie emu. I had not heard of that. I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, see, I don't even keep up with a lot of the. I don't know if you're being funny or not, but I haven't heard of zombie emu if that is one. I definitely haven't heard of that. I haven't been keeping up with that. If Doge drops in his teens, I'm selling my house to buy. I wouldn't say go. I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, there's definitely we've seen so far 100% recovery of Doge dropping into the teens and bouncing back at least into the into the low 20s. So personally, I'm waiting for Doge to um, drop into the teens. I apologize earlier in here. I was like, forgive me, everyone, but I'm personally hoping that it goes back into the teens. So Doge on all the time charts look tasty, no? Yeah, no, Doge is I'm very confident in Doge. I love the community that was built around it. I love a lot of the catalyst, and I'm really interested to see where this goes. So um, yeah, the charts and stuff. As far as for me, I like how Doge looks on the charts. I did some of my last videos as far as for pulling up the support levels and the mirroring. Doge looks good to me, so that's why I pointed out. And even today, if I look at the 1 day chart and see it doing like this, that looks good to me too. Satama and Safe Moon. Yeah, I'm very bullish on Safe Moon. I think that Safe Moon will probably get it, not as like a long term hold, but I think that you'll be able to make some money on it probably in the next few months, within the next few months. Same thing with Doge on Mars. We need Elon to accept Doge for Tesla. Yeah, I believe he will. And I think that would be one of the greater benefits of the community is if we can make, if he isn't already, but make one of like Elon's businesses like a whale and Tesla. I've explained this a few times about how having institutions that conduct services for a payment in exchange for Doge and making them whales. I've explained the benefits of that, but I think that doing so with something like a Tesla or um, just really any institution, I think it has a lot of benefits for the community and the coin long term as well. I'm at 24 cents. No more money to buy now. No, that's fine. That's fine. Again, if you're looking to average down, like 24 cents is still below, it's still in that range. So 24 cents isn't bad. Just that if you wanted to potentially get it lower. So here's the thing when I say average down, because I've been saying this for like months and even before it became like a popular thing to say. the reason I say average down and be strategic as far as for which your entries is this gives you the opportunity for psychologically to not be in the red, right? So if we see consistent support levels, if we see Doge hanging out around the 25 cents level, and I know that for the community, it's a lot of stress saying that, oh, it's in the red or it's dead or whatever the case may be. But if everyone has a DCA that is below that equilibrium, I know that psychologically it's easier to hang out in the in a coin or in a stock if you're in the green. So even if it's not much profit, but if you're in the green and it's going sideways, I know that it's easier psychologically. So that's one of the reasons why I'm always saying, average down or giving out the floor and saying, hey, if we break this, this is the time to buy. That's the purpose of this video. So I think that if we get into the teens, if you have like absolutely no more money to buy, that's fine. You're in that range. But if there's a significant gap, 20, 30% below that, then you should consider or try just put whatever you can in there, because the bigger the gap is between you and that equilibrium, the better off you're going to be. But 24 cents is not bad, so don't feel bad about that. You best describe the new law passed on. I'm still researching. I'll probably address it in my video tomorrow because I'm going to do a recap of some of the stuff I'm doing tonight and put together a format. It would be a little more organized than like a live, of course, but I put together a format to go over equilibrium and why now is a great time to average down. And I'll probably cover that if I can conclude my research tonight. The microcycle we're repeating, do you think it goes into Q1? It could, because I don't think that we're going to have like an actual crash probably for like another year or so. But it doesn't mean that we can't go down and consolidate again. But this I haven't seen, because I think that the chart in itself is already mirroring. I just don't know how long this resistance level is going to play out. But this could be the opportunity for it to be the beginning of that bull run again to like a new all-time high, because we're sitting, I forget how much 100% we're sitting above before the first bull run. So, and that's ultimately the goal of any cycle, is to set pretty much on the chart that I put up as far as for the wealth flow chart. That's the ultimate goal, is to, after each cycle, is to set a higher high and a higher consolidation point. So this could be very well a reset, but I don't have enough information to kind of say that for sure right now. If it drops into this team, I will sell my house to buy Doge, then live in a car for 2 years. I'm not going to touch that, but I wouldn't recommend it. Zombie Inu is 2 devs or someone from Amazon and Microsoft. Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. My guess, we have to blow off top by New Year's, then it's over. Thanks for the work, bro. No problem. XYO any good? That's one I can afford. When I brought into Dogecoin when it was 42 cents. This would be, what was it, Jammo? This would be ideal for you. You're sitting at roughly 50%. I know you said that's all you can afford right now. So like, if even before you take on any new positions, like if you can strengthen the one you have now, that would be great in my opinion, because you're sitting it's sitting roughly at 50% last I looked, like maybe like an hour ago, of your DCA right now. This is a very optimal time for you to get that Dogecoin DCA down. Should we be concerned with Binance situation and Doge? Yeah, these even in general, because I hate like comparing it to like some of the stuff that happened earlier this year. You always kind of be got to be careful with these different like companies that accept these cryptos and who are technically doing business, but they kind of they kind of have like their favorites, and they'll have certain situations where they can carry other cryptos and there's no issue. And typically with it, if it's they're integrating a new crypto, or if it's pertaining to a certain crypto, they'll have some type of issues with them. And I hate bringing up Robinhood, but we've seen how these situations work out. So um, I don't want to speak too much on the Binance one, but when it comes down to Doge and like accepting, we just kind of got to be careful, because we've seen it before earlier this year, when you have a lot of momentum, even in stocks too, we've seen it as well. You have a lot of momentum, and when you have a lot of buying pressure, typically something is done to kind of derail that or slow it down. So um, it's always concerning, but I was saying long term and overall, I wouldn't let it be like break your spirit or kind of discourage you from like the movement or anything like that, because I think it's bigger than any broker or um, yeah, I think the movement in general is bigger than any broker. So I wouldn't let it discourage you or anything. Hey Dave, big fan. You're one of the first crypto enthusiasts that I follow. Thanks for the grant. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate you. My Doge is in Robinhood prison. Yeah. Yeah, I have some Doge on Robinhood too. Yeah, I started buying like I think January 18th or 28th. So I have some Doge on Robinhood too. So at some point, once they figure out how to kind of bridge that gap from all the revenue that they're going to lose, they'll release a wallet. So just kind of hang in there. I'm hanging in there with you. Um, Doge is the best, absolutely. Any thought on whether AMC will squeeze before Dogecoin shoots up, or no real indicators when they might hit? Yeah, when it comes down to AMC, it's kind of difficult to put a time frame on that. This is, for me personally, this has gone way longer than I ever even like imagined. The amount of loopholes that in the stock market, the amount of um, avenues that pretty much are tilted to the advantage of hedge funds, like, is staggering. I've learned a lot this year about how the stock market actually works and how much it is not in favor of the common investor. So it's difficult for me to say that it can squeeze before Dogecoin. I hope so, because I think AMC, especially now, a squeeze like that, that's a play. So I'm considering Dogecoin like an investment as far as for long term. Most people, I'll hold some AMC long term, but the actual squeeze in itself is a play. So um, technically speaking, AMC should before Dogecoin, because Dogecoin has several factors to it, but because of the amount of manipulation in the market right now, it's hard for me to speak on that with any type of certainty. Let's see. Ignoring these Dogecoin Mars ones. No, I'm not ignoring them. No, I think Dogecoin Mars is in the same situation as SafeMoon. I think that I don't have a reason to. I haven't seen anything that would make me consider holding it long term. But these coins typically have their cycles, and you can before the hype, you have about a month or so after they initiated, based off of the ones we've seen, like a Doge or Shiba. You have maybe after the initial interest is gathered, you have about 8 to 10 months, and then you have your rally, and then you'll have about roughly a month to make your exit. So um, Dogecoin, I haven't seen a reason to hold it long term, but I put it in the same category as SafeMoon. You can probably make some money off of it, but I wouldn't consider doing it long term. If I can. Nice shirt. Thank you. Do I believe in a longer bull cycle theory, or do you think it will end in December 2021? Um, it's I can't say. I think that we may not. I think we're not going to have a crash until like a year or so from now. Um, there's two factors that's we've had the shortest bear market in the history of the pretty much in the history of the country, and there's two things that I think played a part in that. That's one, the amount of money that's being injected by the government, and number two, the amount of retail investors that have flooded the market with capital. So we have record amounts of money that's being injected to the market, somewhere between like 25 and 40% of all money that has ever been printed in the United States was created within like the last 18 months. We've also had just this year a finance app, Robinhood, become the number one app on the App Store. That's bigger than Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the games, everything. There was a finance app that was number one. So when we add up the amount of money that's flowing into crypto, and you've seen it, I've mentioned this several times. We hit $3 trillion evaluation for the overall crypto market just last week. So you have that amount of money flowing in. It's kind of hard to say that we're going to have a bear market anytime soon. We have the Fed injecting records amounts of money, the retail's taking in their money or, their pandemic checks and all that kind of stuff and putting it into the market. Like, you pretty much have one direction to go, which is to go up. So I think that we're pretty much going to have, I think that all of them are take breaks and we'll have these consolidations. But overall, I don't think that we're going to slip into a bear market probably for another year or so. Would you buy Bitcoin or altcoins during this dip? Both. But I do like Bitcoin. I do think that we'll have a correction, a harsher one within the next year or so for Bitcoin. But long term, I'm almost 1,000% certain that we're going to see six-figure Bitcoin and seven-figure Bitcoin eventually. As long as it's institutions favor it and we don't get like a Fed coin or something like that, Bitcoin is going to do absolutely incredible. I missed the opportunity to buy anything during the last dip, trying to buy the lowest I could and missed it while at work. Any tips on creating decent limit purchases? Yeah, for me, if I don't look at, especially when it comes to buying the dip, I wouldn't even entertain buying a dip if it's anything less than 10% of my current DCA. So before I even look at it to even think about it, it needs to be greater than 10% below my DCA. 20% is, it's attractive. I like 20% even when it comes to taking profits and stuff that I'm on trading on, or if I'm uncertain or if it's moving too fast. I like 20%, but that 30% and greater mark, that is where, that's how portfolios are built. But when it comes down to, as far as for creating like those limits, that's what I was saying earlier. I'm not sure when you jumped on. The bigger the gap between your DCA and the current price that you're buying at, the more effective you are going to be at buying the dip. Because in my opinion, this is my opinion, I believe there's a right way and a wrong way to buy the dip. So if your DCA is 20, unless you're just long term, and then of course coin count matters the most. But in my opinion, if the current price is 25 cents and it drops down to 22 cents, and you're not long term or you're just trying to bring your DCA down, financially, you're going to have to inject in a massive amount of money to be effective at moving that. So when you use that 10 to 30% or 30% greater, you're going to have a chance at 10%, even 10% for increasing coin count. That's for me to, that's for me to feel comfortable even injecting, even if it's just for coin count. I like to buy at least 10% below my current DCA. And I think that crypto is, especially now, it's very vital and it gives you the opportunity to take advantage of these at some point. maybe not when you want, but the opportunity presents itself. So, but I say the gravy would be at least 20%, and that's going to be, um, where you're going to be effective at buying the dip. Okay. So I'm trying to go through all the questions. I'm seeing now that I'm like way behind. Let's see. Sorry here. Let's see. Place an order to buy. Any chance Doge to 20 cents? I mean, there's a chance. We've dipped below that support level a few times. It's just you just gotta be very quick. We've went down to 19 cents. We've gone to 16 cents, but technically we bounce out relatively quickly. So, but just for me personally, I'd like to see it in the teens. But there's certainly a chance that it can go to 20 cents. We've done it before. So I was trying to read because I didn't realize I was that many comments behind. Johnny James, you are correct. Let's see. You're down on almost everything. Yeah, just be strategic about your entries. No problem, Bert. If I missed all of last year's, it's still too late to make any decent money this time around. What are you referring to in general or with Dogecoin? I believe that, especially now, it's below the support level. Yeah, it's the thing about buying below support levels. Like, even if you have zero, like when it comes down to marking like a great entry, that is a great entry below the support levels, especially if you have zero coins. That's technically, if it's the same as averaging down, and you say that um, the support level at 25 and a great average DCA is 19 cents or 20 cents. So it's starting out. If this is your initial entry into the market, that same DCA would apply. 19 or 20 cents would still be great if the equilibrium is 25 cents. So if you're referring to Dogecoin, the answer would be yes. Is this the beginning of the bear market? I don't think so. Again, all of them need to take breaks, especially after these historic runs. But I don't believe that we're in the beginning of. I wouldn't say this is the beginning of a bear market, at least not yet. I would need some more red days consistently before I can say, okay, we're going to enter into a bear market. So I believe right now it's a little soon to call that. Let's see. So just throw 500 down with that DCA. I'm season OG status. This is what you should buy. Thanks, Melissa. No, I like Mana. I actually own a little. I'm going to speak on that soon. I have some DCAs that I wanted to. Technically I post. I don't typically stay away from like my actual like coin count, but I'll post my entry points on those. So, but I like Mana, and I think that there's going to be some competition based off of the information that I was getting today. So I'm very bullish on that. So I'm just trying to get through these questions because it keeps refreshing and pushing everything down. If you haven't yet, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if I've said anything of value for you. Will Shiba hit 1 penny? not without a massive burn, or we go into hyperinflation. Yeah, we'd have to, like, mathematically, because I know that people have their communities and their emotions are tied into them, but um, you would have to get rid of most of the coins financially, because um, if one coin is worth trillions of dollars, and then I have to think, okay, where's the rest of the money? So, because if, um, I forget what would Shiba have to be. I think it's like 2 trillion or something like that. I have to do the math again. But if Shiba is worth 2 trillion, what's Bitcoin worth? Like, the entire market right now is $3 trillion. The stock market is 100 trillion. So, the amount of capital that would be a very, like, even outside of just the top 10, like the multiplier of the entire crypto market would have to be substantially higher than where it is now. Um, so I'd say it's unlikely, um, unless you're able to get rid of some of the coins. But depending on your entry and how many coins you have, you may not need it to get to 1 penny. So there's always that too. I just know that when it hits $1, there's going to be a major sell-off. Getting over $1 and holding will be major. We have to remember this is long term, not short term. Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah. Yeah, I think that most people, well, I know that a lot of the experienced traders, they'll probably start selling off around like 90 or so, just so that they can go ahead and take profits. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I do believe that there will be a major sell off around $1. Let's see. Raise my DCA a little, but I think we're right for the rip. Yeah, as long as your DCA is below that threshold, I think you're going to be just fine. Doge to $1.91. I can see it. Would Doge ever hit 15 cents again? Yeah, it's possible. It really just depends as far as for where we are in the cycle, before our initial um, run again to go test those limits. But even now, like, if the sell-off continues, it's possible that can go to 15 cents. We've seen this several times where it'll go and touch around 16, 15 cents, and then we'll have that run back up to the ceiling. We'll run back down to around 21 cents, and then we'll consolidate around 25 cents. So this has happened a few times. So I can't say it won't happen again. I'm going to be out at 86. Yeah, see, a lot of people are getting smart about when to um, take profits. I think a lot of people learned that this year about waiting for those round numbers to take profits. I think a lot of people learned that this year. So absolutely. I think we'll see another drop before it goes back up. Buckle up. Yeah, I mean, again, we've seen 15, 16 cents roughly, but before we go test that ceiling again. So, and this is just me. Nobody get mad at me, but I'm hoping that we go down and see 15 cents again. I wouldn't be mad at all. So, for those of you who have who have a higher DCA, um, I'd say capitalize off of that too. But again, don't entertain it if it's less than 10%, and that 20% or greater is going to be your sweet spot. So this dip will bring lots more money into the market. Best thing that can happen. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of people who thought it was too late to get into a lot of coins, not just Doge, but a lot of coins. And if this dip gets attractive enough, you're going to hit what's called like a true floor, which is not going to be fair market value, but it's going to be the floor, as in people think this is an absolute steal, and it becomes looked at as by the market in general, not the community, but by the market in general, and just people who are looking to make profit is going to become to look at, it's going to look at it's oversold, which means that it's going to be pretty much undervalued. So that is how you attract, this is one of the ways you attract new money into the market. So absolutely, I agree with that completely. Let's see here. Read some more questions. Yeah, and I'm glad that people will have had the opportunity to kind of mature this year when it comes to investing and not just, lead with emotion. So I'm liking some of the comments that I'm seeing here. That is very good. I'm liking a lot of the comments that I'm seeing here, especially when it comes to technical analysis and investing for the long term, because most people lose money trying to trade or in the short term. The market in general, I believe that the crypto market will have a similar pattern to what we've seen with the stock market, where technically it trends upward year over year. So a lot of the coins, quality coins, but a lot of the coins that are going to historically be average upward year over year. So a lot of coins people are just selling out because of they lack patience, and if they would have just held, they probably would have made money, or at least would have been able to exit without taking a loss. There's going to be a point where Doge, absolutely, yeah. If we keep, if this inflation keeps going on, the dollar's inflation rate is going to pretty much be substantially higher than Doge's. So if this keeps going on, if we keep seeing 5-6% every month, we're going to see some changes overall reflected in not just the crypto market either, the stock market as well. If this keeps if this keeps going on, because this inflation is dangerous right now. So you're going to need something, assets outside of the dollar, whether it's buying companies or crypto. You're going to definitely need to get out of the dollar, not even from an investment standpoint, but just from just preserving. Right? Because 5 to 6% a month is dangerous. Like, I think the what we saw, the numbers we got last week for was it October, was the highest inflation month that we've had since like 1990. So just be careful with that, and definitely keep an eye on your portfolio. And if we keep having these months, I definitely consider allocating because people technically use gold as like a safe haven, or just diversifying into different companies and stuff like that to kind of hedge themselves against the dollar. So I don't think that would be a bad play with inflation running as rampant as it is. David, have you ever shared your position with the public? Which position? If we're talking about Doge, I did it in my last video, but technically speaking, I usually don't. I show my entries. What's your suggestion for selling strategy if I want to take some money out? How and when? When it comes to profit, I technically like profit in 20% intervals at least. And if you're liquidating, I do so maybe 10 to 20%, depending on how many shares you have, how many coins you have, how many shares you have. So, but I have my tiers, especially if it's like a long-term position or like a squeeze play or something. I have my tiers and I just stick to those numbers. So, and just don't adjust them for let your numbers be like make them like a part of like an investment Bible, where you stick to them and there's no YouTuber, there's no media that's going to change your numbers. And this comes from taking a profit as well. And I'll technically like to take profit if it's at least 20% profit. And I'll have like my tiers. Like I'll say, I can use Dogecoin for example. Let's say my DCA is 8 cents. And I'll say, okay, at 24 cents, I'm going to sell this much. At 50 cents, I'm going to sell this much. And I'm going to sell the rest of it at 65 cents, right? All of those meet the criteria of my said profit margin that I want it to get. And when it hits those numbers, no matter what, I don't care if it's like, oh my God, look at this catalyst, it's going to go to $20. It's not, but I'm just going to go to $20 and I want to just hold. So I'm going to adjust my numbers. That is how you get screwed. Like, let your numbers be your numbers and stick to your tiers. Like, that is technically how I do my selling strategies. I have my tiers and I have my percent of profit where it's like bare minimum that I want to take profits. And that all starts with having a healthy DCA. So when you have your DCA, you're strategic and you know that you're looking to exit, you're going to have to be strategic about your entries. If you're long term and you say, I'm going to sell in 5 years or so, it matters less. But if you know that you want to make an exit, don't go chasing bull runs because that's how you screw your portfolio. And now instead of taking profits when it's down or trying to strategically take profits, now you have to take extra money and bring your DCA down so that you can be comfortable taking profits. So that's pretty much how I do like my selling strategies. Let's see, just a random story. Had a buddy try to pitch a coin to me titled Hakuna Matata, swore he would make me money, went in hard, lost a lot. Did you hear anything about that coin? No, I have not heard anything about that coin. Doge, yeah. I'll have to do a hard count. I said I was going to do it in my last video, but I want to say I'm somewhere around like at least 700K. But I have some on like different platforms, and I have a large chunk on Robinhood. Again, because I started in I think January 28th. I posted my entries in the community section, so there should be a picture if you scroll down far enough. But I have to do a count to kind of add them up. Most of my positions like stock market and crypto, I don't know like my actual amount. I do know my total AMC shares, but most of them I don't know the actual coin amount or stocks that I own. I just have ranges. When Elon announces Tesla accepts Doge, people will flood to Robinhood and Coinbase to buy it. It will skyrocket. Yeah, I mean, it'll be good publicity either way. So I like that. People, if we're able to continuously have market and move the coin forward and have that exposure to attract new people to the community and also expand, I think that you can never go wrong with that. Can you please get some thumbs up and share the love? Absolutely. Thank you, Vicky. Absolutely. Yes, if you haven't yet and I've said anything of value, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel too, if you haven't, because I'm definitely going to try and hit 40K by the end of the year. So I want to start day trading with 20,000 in Doge. That's why I asked. Yeah, no, I understand. That's a great question. Yeah, you have to, being strategic with your DCA and sticking to your numbers. That's going to be crucial because if I lose money in the market, it's going to be A, because of an option, or B, because of trading. Like holding long term and averaging down and being strategic with your exits. It's not impossible to lose money, but or at least lose all your money, but it's much more difficult. So yeah, definitely just be careful when you start trading. Let's see. Do I believe there will be another boom in Doge crypto prices in the first few months of 2022, similar to earlier this year? It's possible. The initial boom that we had was from the community expansion, and then of course the catalysts that were coming out. So if you if we have that type of catalyst going forward, or we get another injection of institutional money, we can see that. Because I think that what a lot of people have been frustrated as far as with Doge when they jumped in is because they didn't know how to invest properly. So when it went the other way after they had higher DCAs, they didn't know what to do, so they sold at a loss. So they were kind of like bitter with it. So I think that once we go up and start testing some of those higher levels again, I think that we'll be able to attract a lot of people that have they've kind of written it off. Does that make sense? So um, if we can test some of those higher levels again earlier in the year, I can definitely see that we can have a boom due to the community expansion again. But outside of that, I think that we'll have one from just the catalyst that we have. Let's see. Did you buy Safe Moon yet? I have a little. I haven't increased my position like I want. I'll probably do that this weekend, actually. What stocks would be smart invest given the $50 billion government infrastructure bill? Um, I'm not. I'm not really sway. That the infrastructure bill doesn't really sway my investments. I think that long term, like I like the tech industry. Of course, I'm Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, the obviously Dogecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Like my long term positions, I'm not going to be swayed with that because infrastructure and like cash injections, especially at this point, are not what's going to help or smooth out inflation. You can kind of pause it for a little bit, but that's not what's going to um, smooth it out. So, like, because ultimately the money that was printed has to be absorbed by the market. So, there's really no way around that. So, that's why you have inflation until that money is absorbed. And then they can kind of start attaching it to hard assets. So, um, I don't have any stocks that I think that that is going to change my investment strategy, especially in infrastructure. Let's see. What is a good exchange to day trade on? Please and thank you. You can trade on multiple ones. Like my favorite platform that I've done for a long time is Webull. I have E-Trade. I have Robinhood. I have a few Webull accounts. I have a couple E-Trade accounts. I only have a one Robinhood, but um, yeah, those two. I would say Webull and then E-Trade. Those are, especially when it comes to trading, because you can trade like on an app like Robinhood, but for me, I need to be able to track like resistance levels. I need to see the tickers. I need to see where the sell walls are. I got to track MACD. I got to do like a lot of, um, I got to look at SMAs and stuff like that. I got to really, because on an app like Robinhood, you can't see any of that. So that means I have to research off of the app, then come back to it. And in real time, that's actually annoying. So that's why I don't say an app like that. So as long as you can track your numbers and do your due diligence on the app and see, buying pressure and able to kind of get an idea of the strengths and weaknesses of the stock and do that research in the app, um, or on that platform, I think it's beneficial. So we're going to learn about crypto. Do you have any book or course recommendations? I learned about crypto pretty much the same way I did about stocks, which is looking at the charts. There's a few books I like out there. My favorite would be it's actually by Tony Robbins. It's like Money Mastery. Um, really gives you a foundation as far as for how to look at the markets and invest. But when you look at the charts and you look at crypto and the stock market, you'll start to see pretty much cycles. That's why it was easy for me to make the wealth flow chart, because I could see the cycles and identify like the levels. And we'll see that once the amount of people that come in, they're going to change the cycle. And I just start to notice the patterns that they're going to take profits and it just helps me come up with ranges. And, I watch some like YouTube videos, or I'll look up certain terms, but for the most part, I've pretty much learned by observation. But if there was a book that I would recommend to start with, I would say read that book by Tony Robbins. It actually exceeded my expectations for laying a foundation of the market. Can we get a shirt? How do I buy one? Buy Vulcan Materials. They supply rock and asphalt for all over the country. Yeah, I actually just got like my first order of shirts. I gave out some. You can send me an email. I haven't set up like a site or anything for like the shirts yet. So you can send me an email at nofluff2021@gmail.com. So I'll put that here. Yeah, just send me an email there. Is there any crypto out there you think people should grab outside of those? I'm not sure which one you're referring to as those, but like my sure things, in my opinion, obviously I like Doge, Ethereum, Bitcoin. My speculation is going to be like a Dogecoin and a Safe Moon. That's my speculation. But again, that's like my those are my cash grabs, my riskier side of the portfolio. Like you have like those short term plays and you have your long term plays. So, but those two right there are my speculation plays. There's a chapter that I go over in my book that I don't like to expand too wide. I'd rather go deep versus wide when it comes to having altcoins or just stocks and coins in general. I'll go over that a little later, but I'm not going to have like 50 cryptos in my wallet. So that's pretty much where I stand as far as for my long term and my short term stocks there. Cryptos. Thanks for all your responses. My wife and I appreciate your channel. Thank you, Simon. I appreciate you too as well. Let's see. You are genuinely the person who unintentionally led me to sell the Doge and jump into AMC the night before. That fateful day that AMC went up to $72. Been following you ever since. Oh, sweet irony. Yeah, I hold both. But yeah, I do remember making a post that I had put like another $1,000 in the AMC, and then like maybe like 30 minutes later, it like literally took off. But yeah, I hold both, and to this day, so I think both of them are going to do very well. Let's see. David, at what price will you sell your Doge? Excellent question. And see, that's the thing with Doge, because technically, like I said, I like to have like my exits already planned out. And with Doge, I am very curious to the point, because even with like my Ethereum or my Bitcoin, because there's so much uncertainty right now, I just know that they're long term. I haven't decided at what point I would liquidate. I just typically try, and with those are my long term plays. I typically try to make sure that I'm just in the green, so that if I need to take profit for whatever reason, I can. But I'm more so stressed what my exit price is on my short term plays than my long term. So with Doge is definitely one of my long term. So I don't really have a exit price on it just yet. 50 cryptos, who would do that? You would be surprised. I've gotten some screenshots. I've received some messages and some DMs. You'd be surprised how wide people go. And that's one of the things I advise against, especially if you don't have a lot of money. Like, don't take $1,000 and go 50 cryptos wide. Like, it's better to go deep. But yeah, but you'd be surprised. You would certainly be surprised. Let's see. How much do I think Doge is going to be by the end of the year? I hate doing those price ranges because there's so many things that happened this year that threw off even the charts. But I would like to see. For me, it would be an exciting year if Doge finished above the. I would like to see it around 50, but if it finished at the ceiling or above the ceiling that it's bounced, that it's retracted off of a few times, which is at 31 and 33 cents, that will put us in a strong position for next year. So that's where I would like to see it like above 33 cents. That would be ideal for me. But again, you got to be patient with these cycles. I don't believe this is like a crypto winter or anything. So I think that so far we're in a great position. But personally, I would like to see it above 33 cents and ideally at around 50 cents. But we shall see. I think Jeff Bezos and Rivian is a serious Tesla competitor, or is it worth investing in? It could be. I mean, you got to think because Apple is also making their car, and they're going to compete with Tesla. So there is going to be an Apple car as well. And I don't have a Tesla, but I am a Apple connoisseur. I am long Apple, and if Apple's customer service and presentation is anything like they do their other products, it is going to be exceptionally successful. So, and again, all markets have competitors. I think it's healthy for the market. Tesla is going to have its brand loyalty people, just like Apple is. Rivian, obviously, they can build their customer base. So we're just going to have to see. We're going to have to get some models out there. I think they, just have some consumers and kind of wait to get some feedback. But I think it's a little soon right now to compare it to Tesla. I don't think they've done enough personally to be compared to Tesla. But if you're speculating on them, then I would say just not go crazy with investing in them. But it wouldn't hurt to take an early position if you're speculating because it could pay off. But I think that it's a little soon to be comparing it to Tesla. Let's see. See, Tama. I haven't looked at it that much. It could be it could be one of those coins that can have like a rally or have the opportunity to make some money, but I haven't looked at it that much to speak like for sure on it, or definitely not to. It definitely hasn't any interest for me to hold long term, but it could be in the same category as like a Safe Moon or like a Doge line, where you have the opportunity for it to have that run and make some money. So some of those cheaper coins you can certainly put money around and you can possibly get a great return, especially if they're cheap. But those are not one of the ones that I would go deep on. So I just bought the iPhone 13 Pro Max, serious upgrade from my iPhone XR. Yeah, that's actually what I have. I've been thinking about it because I have the XR here. I have a lot of unanswered. Okay, wow. But yeah, I do have an XR as well. So I'm thinking about upgrading because I'm an Apple connoisseur, and I saw that Apple also said today that they're going to have kits where we can fix our own phones and not have to go to the Apple store or whatever. So that'll be interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. But long term, I'm long Apple. So I'll upgrade at some point. Did you say the bear market won't hit until this time next year, November 2022? Um, I wouldn't say it with that great certainty. I can kind of get an idea as we get closer to it. But the I think that we're about a year or so at least out from a bear market. There's just way too much money flowing into the market right now, and they're continuously printing money to try and hold up the economy. So I just don't think that, and especially with retail pouring into the markets too, I just don't think that we're going to hit a bear market anytime soon. So I say, when I say a year, I say like at least a year. So, and we can have some consolidation points and some corrections in between there, absolutely. But as far as for an actual bear market, I'd say at least a year out. But when we do have one, I do believe it's going to be absolutely nasty. We've had the shortest bear market in history. And pretty much if we look at the charts, it's literally been like rising. It's pretty much like literally like a rocket. And I know long term that's unnatural and it's also unhealthy. So when that correction does happen, it's going to be ugly. So even if you are uncertain about the market or how much money you should be putting in, like once we start getting closer to that, I'll make some videos and put that information out there. But that is some time that you want to set some money aside, because that is a dip you will not want to miss. That's for sure. Let's see. Let's see. Any other questions? Also, yeah, I appreciate everyone. We got hit 101 likes. Appreciate you guys for liking the video. If you have not yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. Pushing for 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'll put it in the chat as well for the replay. But I'm getting my the ebook is pretty much finished, so I'm pretty much going over having it edited and stuff like that. So, and again, that will be free, and it'll be an option where if you want to, you can pretty much give whatever you want, but the ebook will be free. So, and it's pretty much going to have like literally like the top, what I consider the top 5 laws for investing in crypto, and it's going to be like the foundation of building like your portfolio and how to evaluate stocks in your portfolio. So I think it's going to be beneficial to the community. Hold on, just reading some more questions here. Are you concerned about the market crash videos that are popping out left and right? Considering you are greatly invested in crypto and other stock, I feel like this is not being addressed enough. I think that, well, I do my own research, because a lot of times when I ask for people that I should do collaborations with, and people put names, like a lot of times I don't even know who they are. I do my own research, and so as far as for the amount of videos that come out, that doesn't like alarm me. As far as for market crash, because technically speaking, if you do a general TA, you can say that the market's been going up aggressively, and therefore it should be a correction soon. The same thing with real estate. There should be a correction soon based off of that's good. That's great general TA. So if you take a deeper look inside of it and what's going on, you'll kind of get more concrete answers, and you'll see that, yeah, technically we're overdue for one, but in order for it to happen, there has to be a restriction on cash. And as long as the cash is flowing into it, it's not going to correct. Like And that's the same thing as far as for the economy overall. We believe for some reason it's supposed to increase 3% year over year. And as long as we're printing money and people are pumping money into it, it's not going to happen. So I would have to get an indicator that there's going to be a restriction of cash and they're not going to inject money into the market, or in the retail sector is fearful enough to say that, okay, well, we don't need to be investing right now. We need this money for survival. Then at that point, I'll say, okay, we're near a market crash. But as long as I'm doing videos and I'm getting, 100,000 views a month or something like that, and people are like, oh my God, we need to be investing. For me, that's them injecting more money into the market. If I look at the numbers and I see Biden and the government saying we're going to inject $50 billion, or we're going to inject this amount of money, we're going to inject this amount of money, all of those are propping up markets. So for me, when I take a deeper level, looking at the economy, it lets me know that, okay, this is very unlikely that we're going to have a crash right now until there's a restriction of cash. So that is my perception as far as for being invested in crypto and other stuff. And I have like my speculation coins, but those are not the ones that I go deep on. My Doge, my Bitcoin, my Apple, my Tesla, my Microsoft. Like if the economy went to hell like tomorrow morning, I know that in 10 years I'll be better off, and that they would survive a correction or a crash. So that helps me sleep at night. I don't go to sleep worried. There's not one night that I went to sleep worried, like shaking, like, oh my God, my Apple is going to be worthless tomorrow. Like I don't like. It really just depends as far as what you're invested in, and you do your own research and come up with your own technical analysis, because YouTube can be very helpful, but not everybody on YouTube, because I hate to say it, but a lot of times people they pedal for views. So and unfortunately, you get a lot more attention when you say, fearful things or stuff like that. So just be careful when you're looking at a lot of videos popping out right and left. Just see, not saying don't watch them, but just kind of make sure that it's making sense and they're not just, feeding you propaganda. So. See, King Crypto, do you think projects, and thank you for the $10 super chat. Do you think projects can really compete with Overtake with Uniswap and Pancake Swap? For example, Shiba Swap and Boot Swap. It's possible. Like when you have the especially with like a Shiba Swap and stuff like that, when you have these companies, when you have swaps that are intertwined inside of communities, because you have the crypto market. Think of the crypto market as like a pool of investors, and you have inside the pool, you have these coins that have almost like, I don't want to say cult followings, but you have people that are loyal. Like imagine like a Doge swap or something like that. Like you have these people that are loyal to these movements inside of those, and depending on how large those communities are, they can continuously take and pull away from the general swap. So I don't think that it's impossible for them to be overtaken, but if you are consistently pulling away from them with loyalty from these large communities inside the crypto market, I think it's entirely possible. Because that's the same thing. I think that when you have things like Doge or like a baby Doge and Doge wife and stuff like that, like those types of things, I would be foolish to say that the knockoff coins had no effect on Dogecoin. Because when you have that and the goal is to make money, those coins, and if they do 200% and Doge is down 5%, they become real attractive. So when you have these coins that are able to play off of the community, or you have these swaps that are able to play off the community, they're going to gain popularity and also have some form of loyalty there as well. So it's certainly possible in crypto, in my opinion. Dre Tokes, David, always a great conversation and knowledgeable information. Thank you. Doge is like the desert winds these days, sucks and blows. No problem. Appreciate you being live for us. No problem at all. I appreciate all of you. Thank you all. Absolutely. But again, I appreciate all of you. We're about an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to get to work on some research for tomorrow's video, and I'll post that, and we can chat in the community section. Follow me on Twitter and check out the community section. I'm often posting just things there to kind of make you think and give you different points of view. So definitely check that out if you haven't. And again, I appreciate you guys for liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I appreciate you. We will chat tomorrow. I don't have a release time yet. I'll update that in the community section. But until then, until next time, I'll chat with you guys soon. I appreciate all of you. Thank you.